Diane Keaton, the enigmatic screen legend whose quirky charm and fearless vulnerability redefined American cinema, departed this world on October 11, 2025, at the age of 79, succumbing to pneumonia after a lifetime of luminous performances that spanned rom-coms, dramas, and everything in between. Known for her Oscar-winning turn in Annie Hall, her portrayal of the unraveling Kay Adams in the Godfather trilogy, and her triumphant return in Something's Gotta Give, Keaton was more than an actress. She was a cultural touchstone, a woman who wore menswear with panache and bared her soul with unflinching honesty. Her death, announced quietly by family, closed a chapter on one of Hollywood's most beloved eccentrics. But now, in the quiet aftermath, a deeper layer of her final months emerges. A valiant, hidden struggle against hereditary dementia, a thief in the night that eroded her sharp wit and left her loved ones grappling with a silence she chose to keep from the world. Keaton's legacy is woven from threads of complexity. Adopted at birth in Los Angeles, she grew up in a creative household that nurtured her early forays into acting. Her breakout came with Woody Allen's Annie Hall in 1977, where she embodied the neurotic, lovable Alvy Singer's muse, winning the Academy Award for Best Actress and etching her name in film history. That role, a mosaic of stream-of-consciousness monologues and awkward grace, mirrored Keaton's own offbeat persona, the wide-brim hats, turtlenecks, and brotherly bonds that became her signature. From there, her career unfurled like a jazz riff, Reds as the fiery Louise Bryant, Baby Boom as the yuppie-turned farmer, the Family Stone as the matriarch navigating chaos with dry humor. Each character bore her imprint, intelligent, idiosyncratic, unafraid of imperfection. Off-screen, Keaton's life was equally cinematic, adopting daughters Dexter and Duke in her 50s, authoring memoirs like Then Again that blended family lore with personal reckoning, and championing women's stories through production ventures. Yet, as the years advanced, whispers of cognitive shifts began to circulate among intimates. Diagnosed with hereditary dementia, a genetic form of the disease that ravages memory, reasoning, and daily function, Keaton's battle was a private inferno, one she shielded with the same fierce independence that defined her roles. Dementia, particularly the familial variant linked to mutations in genes like AP or PSEN1, strikes without mercy, accelerating decline in those with predisposed lineages. For Keaton, whose family history included whispers of early-onset cases among relatives, it manifested subtly at first. Misplaced scripts on book club sets, pauses in interviews where her trademark anecdotes faltered. By 2022, during filming of Maybe I Do, a romantic comedy ensemble with William H. Macy and Susan Sarandon, it had deepened. Crew members recall her frustration with line recalls, a far cry from the ad-libbing savant of Annie Hall. To accommodate, directors fitted her with an earpiece for cues, a heartbreaking concession that Macy met with incredible kindness, turning breaks into gentle refreshers rather than reprimands. In her waning months, Keaton sought refuge at Smoke Tree Ranch, the ultra-exclusive Palm Springs enclave of mid-century modern bungalows and desert serenity, a haven for celebrities escaping the glare. Here, amid saguaro shadows and infinity pools, she could curate her world, surrounded by books of Georgia O'Keeffe prints and playlists of Gershwin tunes, activities that once anchored her joy. But the disease's progression was relentless. Confusion over familiar faces, loops in conversations, a growing detachment that isolated her even in company. A poignant visit from Woody Allen, her former mentor and lover, alongside wife Suni Previn, underscored the tragedy. Once, their banter sparked like flint. Now, Keaton gazed blankly, the spark dimmed, unable to summon the man who directed her to glory. It was like watching a light flicker out, a friend confided, the moment a microcosm of loss, love's echoes lost to neural fog. The family's decision to cloak this struggle was rooted in Keaton's ethos: privacy as power, vulnerability on her terms. When pneumonia, exacerbated by dementia's toll on immunity, claimed her, the official statement cited only the infection, sparing the public a narrative of diminishment. She'd been struggling quietly for some time, the longtime pal shared. The people around her knew, but she didn't want the world to. This choice echoed Keaton's life philosophy, articulated in Let's Just Say It Wasn't Pretty, her book on aging. Face it head-on but on your stage. Her children, now young adults, Dexter a visual artist, Duke a musician, honored this, tending to her with a devotion that mirrored her own adoptive motherhood. They curated visits from stars like Meg Ryan and Lisa Kudrow, old Annie Hall cohorts, filling her days with laughter-laced reminiscences, even as recall slipped. Keaton's dementia fight illuminates broader shadows in Hollywood's golden years. The industry with its memory-dependent craft, is ill-equipped for cognitive decline. Stigma silences, accommodations lag. Keaton's earpiece workaround on Maybe I Do was ingenuity born of necessity, but it highlighted systemic gaps. No standardized protocols for aging actors, few resources beyond whispers. Her story, now surfacing, could catalyze change, much like her 1972 Looking for Mr. Goodbar pushed boundaries on women's sexuality. Friends recall her final months as a tapestry of tenacity. Mornings journaling fragmented thoughts, afternoons wandering ranch paths with aides, evenings screening classics. The Godfather eliciting faint smiles as if muscle memory stirred Corleone loyalty. Tributes since her passing evoked that spirit. Meryl Streep lauding her fearless fragility, Jane Fonda calling her sister in eccentricity. Keaton's influence endures in modern icons. Emma Stone's quirky tics, Saoirse Ronan's introspective depth. Women who owe a debt to her trailblazing blend of strength and singularity. Her memoirs, From As I Am on Adoption to Brother and Sister on Sibling Bonds, now read as prescient, grappling with memory's fragility long before it claimed her. In unveiling this battle, we honor Keaton not as victim but victor. A woman who danced with dementia's specter, hats tilted defiantly. Her final months, though veiled, teach. Grace persists in fragments, love in quiet vigils. As smoke trees winds whisper through palms, her light lingers, quirky and eternal, reminding us to embrace the mess, memorize the joy.